Hey guys, welcome to Drew Bobbin. Hope everyone's having a great day. I hope y'all having a great weekend, and hope God will bless each and every one of you who are listening right now. And I just really want to talk to you about something that's pretty important and pretty vital to the Christian belief, and that is the death and resurrection of Jesus. Now I'm going to talk about the resurrection of Jesus and the death of Jesus, and I'm going to point out some facts that may not be as obvious to the reader as one would think. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to state the obvious. This is true. But let's first read the passage. So Matthew chapter 27 verse 44 reads this. About the ninth hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that's the groundwork of what we're going to be using. But, hello, I am Judas Iscariot, and I was on the mountain when he summoned the 12. I heard my name spoken last. He said, I have called you Peter, whom I have called you Simon, whom I will call Peter, James, son of Zebedee, and John, James' brother. And I remember hearing my voice last. He last called my name. He said, Simon, the zealot, Thaddeus. Then I heard him say, Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. I regret it. I sold him for 30 pieces of silver, the price of a slave. In fact, I love money. I was in charge of the money bag. Everyone loved me. Everyone had high esteem for me. That is why when Jesus said, one of you will betray me, I trembled. I knew it was me. I knew it was as if he was speaking right into my soul and looking right at me. And all the other apostles looked around and said, surely not I, surely not I. And I knew I had to do it. And that's why he turned to me and said, whatever you do, do quickly. I trembled in fear, and I quickly went to the Pharisees and betrayed him. Now, Judas Iscariot did betray Jesus Christ on that night. In fact, it says that Jesus saw them coming with swords and clubs, and Judas walked up to Jesus and said, Hail, Rabbi. And that's a very common greeting. That's a very greeting of, I'm here not to accuse you, Hail, Rabbi. And then what did he do? He kissed him. In fact, Mark said, another gospel says, he kissed him over and over and over again. This is an affection. This is the kind of kissing that says, this is a greeting kissing, but this is a greeting that he thinks he's being sneaky, but in reality, Jesus knows exactly what's going on. That's why Jesus turns to him and says, friend, do you betray me with a kiss? So Jesus called him friend after all that. And so, surely enough, they arrested Jesus and then brought him before Pilate. And they actually brought him before the Jewish religious leaders, and then they brought him before Pilate, to the Jews and the Gentiles, the Roman courts, the Roman courts, and the Jewish aspects of that. And so anyway, so Jesus is brought before Pilate, and Pilate puts him in a holding cell called a praetorium. And as he's in the holding cell, the Roman soldiers ask Pilate, well, why is this man here? And Pilate tells him, this man, his charge would be the king of the Jews. And so the Roman cohorts make a huge mockery of this guy named Jesus Christ. Because there really wasn't anything significant about Jesus' death that was important. Like, many Jewish people died because of the crucifixion in those days, right? There's not so much the physical aspect about Jesus' death as much it was the psychological aspects of Jesus' death. And it says in Matthew that he sat down on the bench, and one of the Roman soldiers said, hey, look, the king of the Jews. And Matthew says that they twisted together a crown of thorns. And it says that they put it on Jesus' head. And actually, another gospel said they bashed it onto his head. So it was a remorse. It was a horrible kind of pain. And it said that they put a reed in his right hand to depict a royal scepter. and they put on a purple robe on him, and they knelt down before him. Hail, King of the Jews! And back in those days, who did they yell hail to? Caesar. They used to say, Hail Caesar, Hail Caesar. Well, they're depicting him as Caesar, but in a mockery kind of way. So they had the crown of thorns on him to depict the leaflet that Caesar wore, and the scepter, which Caesar used to carry in his right hand, and the royal robe Caesar used to gnash along his chest. And they stripped all of that, and so they used to hail King of the Jews, Hail King of the Jews, to depict Caesar. And another passage says, Long live King of the Jews, depicting Caesar, and they spat on him. And it says that they took a reed, which was grown around the Nile, Jordan. No doubt about it, they took it from him, and they kept on beating him on the head with the reed. And it says that he was, and so from that point on, Pilate obviously is making session with the Jewish people, saying, I found no guilt with him. And so Pilate did was he had him scourged. Now in those days, back in the Roman days, what they used to do to a slave was they used to scourge a slave and then crucify a slave. And so they were treating Jesus like a slave. And so Pilate had Jesus scourged. Now when the Romans scourged people, they so now remember Jesus is being spat on already. He's already, he's pretty beat up. And so how did the Romans scourge people? They had flesh, they had bones depicting some kind of sharp object on the back of the whip, and they used to have two wickers that would exchange blows on the back. And normally they would completely make the to humiliate the subject. They would strip him down naked, and they would exchange blows one after the other upon his back. And then they would continue doing that until the back was exposed. And now the Romans used to flog in a very interesting way. They used to hang you. They would do it in multiple ways. Number one, they would lie you down on a stone. They would lie you down on a table or a stone. Stretch out your back. That way your back muscles can be seen. And then they would flog you because the momentum with the stretched back. Or they would tie you with ropes across your two legs spread across, and your body spread like a starfish. And then they would flog you. Or they would hang you. They would just simply hang you from a seam, from a beam, and they would flog you like that. And so there are many ways that they flogged them. And so he's beat up already. He's carrying the cross. Pilate says, "Behold, your king." He comes out all bloody with a crown of thorns. Remember, Pilate's trying to show him like something's wrong with this guy. He has a crown of thorns. He's wearing a robe. He has a scepter. And what did they yell? They yell, "Crucify, crucify, crucify, crucify." And so Jesus' blood, he's dripping, and he has the crown of thorns on his head. He has a scepter. And Pilate looks at him and says, "I find no reason to kill him." Jesus is already tired. He's exhausted. He's already beat up. He comes into the praetorium and says, "Who are you? Can you just tell me who you are? Everyone tells you, tell me you're the Son of God. Who are you?" Jesus remains dead silent. He remains dead silent. He's beat up already. He's tired. He's quiet. Doesn't say one word. So Pilate becomes very afraid. So he asks him again. He says, "Are you the King of the Jews?" And Jesus says, "Did you come up that with yourself, or did others tell you about me?" And so he said, "Your own people is calling you your king." And then he's saying, "It is true. My kingdom is not of this realm, because if it were, my servants would be fighting for me." And then he said, "For this reason the Son of Man has come to earth, and everyone who hears my voice is of truth." Pilate turns to him and says, "What is truth?" And then he officially has Jesus crucified, penalized to death. And then something interesting happens. He tells the Jewish people, "Okay, you know what? Go ahead, kill Jesus. Kill however you want. However you want." Because see, the Jewish people back, what was most interesting about Jesus' case was this. The Jewish people back then were killed people not under Roman law. And so, what do I mean by that? But what I mean is, if they found somebody in violation of their law, they would go ahead and kill them without bringing them before the Romans. For example, the woman caught in adultery, they said, "Moses commanded us to stone her." So they were going to stone her. Jesus, they attempted to push him off the cliff. If they wanted you dead, they were going to make that happen. But why did they go to Pilate? Well, it tells you one in the gospel. It says, signifying by what kind of death that he might suffer. He told Nicodemus, he said, the Son of Man must be what? Lifted up. He cannot be stoned. He has to be lifted up. And so anyway, he's carrying the wooden cross across, and he's painfully wounded. And let me just say this: Jesus did not die with a crown. It's very unlikely that Jesus died with a crown of thorns on. Very unlikely, but because it probably would have fallen off. He just would have been very unlikely for him to die with a crown of thorns actually on his head. Just as much as it would be unlikely, it was a prop. Just as much as it would be unlikely for him to die with a scepter in his hand or a robe in his hand. But anyway, he's walking along carrying the cross, and he yells out one of the most horrific things someone can yell out. While he's on the cross, he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? In the pitch black of his soul, he just got betrayed by one of his friends. He just got delivered over, right? He just got treated the most worst way. All of his friends, all the 12 are run off, but now they're following a distance. He's suffering. He's bleeding to death. He just got scourged, right? He has power to raise the sick. He has all the power, but he himself is on the cross, and he's suffering, and he's looking out. He's breathing hard. He's looking out across the path to see something. Now, while he's on the cross, he's looking for hope. He's looking for sympathy. He's looking for comfort, and he calls out God, and God shows him no comfort. He's on the cross, and as he's bleeding and dying and crying and screaming and crying out with a loud voice and saying, I'm thirsty, God is showing no comfort. There's no one out there. There's no one out there. That's why he says, my God, my God. And so, but Jesus never ever calls Father God. He never, in a prayer, Jesus never said God. He says Father, always Father. In John 17, he says Father, and in the early when he burst open the water in his baptism, the Father called him his Son. But now he doesn't call God Father. He says, my God, my God. Instead of calling him Father, it's the most despair cry you could ever cry out to God is, my God, why have you forsaken me? The psalmist said right in David, when David was going through a tough time, this is a shadow of what was to come. My God, why have you forsaken me? And then they put a sign above Jesus' head. And the sign read, the King of the Jews. But wait a minute. There's a contradiction, right? Across the four Gospels. Matthew says this. No, Matthew says, Mark says, Matthew says they laminated a sign above his head that says, this is the King of the Jews. Mark says they put a sign that says, behold the King of the Jews. Luke says, the King of the Jews. And John says, Jesus, the Nazarene, King of the Jews. So if we combine all those statements together, the sign will read, this is Jesus, the Nazarene, the King of the Jews. And so what do? After he breathed his last breath, Father, into thy hand I commit thy spirit. They put him away and he's buried. We all know the story. 3 nights later, he's resurrected. Now, my final not so obvious claim about the resurrection was this. Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb, and the stone is sealed up. The stone is rolled away. Now, let me just say this, okay? The stone is not rolled away so that Jesus can walk out of the tomb. Because we all know in the new physical body, Jesus can walk through walls. So the stone was not rolled away as some kind of thing that way, That way Jesus can walk out, he's free. No. The stone was rolled back, not for Jesus to walk out, but for people to walk in. And the stone was rolled back, remember the great earthquake, the stone was rolled back for people like Mary, Magdalene, like Martha, James, John, Peter, to walk in to the tomb. Anyway, that's all I have today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like what you hear today, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little video that I put together. There will be other passages like this in the Bible that we'll go over, and if you like what you hear today, just leave a thumbs up and let me know what your thoughts are. All right, I'll see you guys next time.